Oh, you damn right. Let's get a modcast house divided kind of mashup going here. Kids like the mashups, right? Just smash things together. Taylor Swift can do it. We'll do it too. A little bit later on, you'll see that. You'll see some house divided. Right now, we'll start with the modcast. And big thanks to Daily and Black as we get started with the modcast. They bring you the modcast each and every week. Check out dailyblack.com, D-A-L-Y, as you see the spelling there, dailyblack.com for your 100% free consultation. They will take care of you. So go check them out if you are in need of such things, some of the best representation out there. I'm Chad Hastings, in for Jeff Ketchum, I guess. Nobody replaces Jeff Ketchum. We know that. Jeff Ketchum's working on business stuff and tax time and all that sort of stuff. Alex Dunlap is normally a part of the modcast. He's checking out the Senior Bowl, and you definitely want to check out Football with Friends this evening at 6. He and Cody are covering the Senior Bowl. So a lot of stuff going on. We got Jason Sukamel here with us, of course. We've got Anwar Richardson, of course, with us. Gentlemen, I do appreciate it. It is off season, but it just never stops. I know you guys talked some recruiting this morning. Jason and I will do that tomorrow on the recruiting hour. So I wanted to get into a little kind of portal update conversation because I feel like I haven't had this exact conversation with you guys specifically. But first off, let's check in on the health of one Jason Sukamel. Jason, how we feeling? I know the flu has been punching you in the face recently.
Punching me and my kids in the face. But yeah, I'm good. But you know, it's amazing. My daughter's way more resilient than I am. I guess when you're 13 versus 51, you bounce back a little quicker. But like, she got it. Like the next day, she was like, 2 days later, she's like, okay, I'm good. I'm volunteering to go back to school. I'm like, what? But yeah, I appreciate it, Chad. But I'm doing all right, dude. I think I'm on the downhill side of things at this point.
Excellent. Anwar Richardson, how are you today, sir? Has the flu found its way to you, or are you avoiding it?
I'm gonna knock on wood here and not try to jinx myself. I really don't get sick.
Amar, I don't either. So be careful.
No, I know I just jinxed myself, and I know now, I'll be, needing some sort of kidney transplant or something. But
or maybe a liver, maybe.
Yeah. Now, liver is definitely on the agenda. Right? Liver is definitely something that's going to be there. I really feel like there's enough alcohol in my system at all times to fight off any kind of sickness and impurities that are out there. I feel like that's my natural body's defense mechanism. So you can sneeze on me all you want to. I'll just cough this Grey Goose back at you, buddy. Cough this Tito's back at you. And I'm good to go.
We see people jumping in the chat already. Apparently, our guy Esserone says my sister is down bad with it. Yeah, it is. It has been going through a lot of folks. So please, we hope everybody is doing well and get well soon if you're feeling a little bit bad. All right, so we're going to talk a little portal today, and fellas, I continue to be watching the difference in this portal and last year's portal. Because I do think the reason I put big difference on the title, I just don't know if we're ever going to see anything like last year with the Saban ingredient, with some of those other ingredients that are there. But I want to talk to you guys about how you also feel like Texas is different this time. So as we're sitting here, Texas has 4 guys that they've gotten in the portal. 4. And it's been a while. It's the punter. It's the 2 interior defensive linemen. It's the linebacker. And that's it right now. But, Jason, as I looked it up today, I looked up a ranking of portal teams. And all I would care about if I'm a Texas fan is what's Georgia doing and what's Ohio State doing. Georgia's like 47th in the rankings. Ohio State's 49th. Texas is 90th. And the other 2 have 6 guys. Texas has 4. For you right now, as somebody that follows Texas, and obviously if there's a big portal story, we always talk about it. But for you, how worried would you tell a Texas fan to be? Concerned, like, at all of what's going on right now? Or this feels like about where they need to be in this particular portal?
Yeah, it's a good question. My advice would be don't lose any sleep on it, right? I don't think the coaches are overly stressed about it. Has it been as productive as they would have liked? No. I mean, there's the lineman from USC. The offensive lineman, they would have loved to have had him. There's a Hero Canoe guy that visited. We'll see what happens with him. He's visited Florida, and he's going to Georgia maybe today, and then I think A&M is going to get a visit at some point. But maybe you would have liked to have landed a receiver. They haven't landed the big heavy hitters like we saw last year at the receiver position. Texas did, okay, and they landed a large number of defensive linemen last year. And I think those guys probably played better than maybe I expected them to. But the bottom line is, Chad, Texas hasn't landed any true difference makers in the portal this year. You could argue the punter is probably the biggest difference maker, to be honest. But I think this roster is okay. I don't think it's catastrophic that they haven't, and if they don't, I mean, this roster is still very talented. Ketch broke it down on all the super blue chips on the Texas roster from the high school ranks. I mean, does that mean that Texas is going to stop searching for players? No, they still probably want. They could use another defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman. They could use experienced wide receiver. They could use some tight end experience, maybe offensive line experience. But you said it, this portal year is different. I think last year, I'm going to be curious to see if last year was truly just a one-off anomaly, or is this year different? Because last year was so loaded with good talent. This year's just not. You mentioned you had the Saban effect, which affected Alabama's transfers and Washington's and Arizona. It's kind of trickle-down effect. So there hasn't been a tremendous amount of top-end talent for Texas to recruit. But I'm okay with the way they've handled it. They'll keep looking in the spring portal window. We'll see what happens, but I wouldn't lose a minute of sleep over it if I'm a Texas fan.
Anwar, give me your thoughts on it right now.
Well, there's a couple of things. It's an interesting topic too, as you talk about it, right? So first of all, I feel like most programs, I think, in the country, have done a much better job of getting their NIL collectives and all these things together. Where I think before there was just like guys just jump in and they get it. Like I feel like most programs kind of have a good grasp on it. So, you don't see, like for instance, a Jordan Addison, remember? He's like, well, I'm just leaving Pitt so I can get more money somewhere. But now you're not seeing that kind of Jordan Addison kind of level of guys who are going into the portal. You don't really see that. You just see more guys who just aren't getting a lot of playing time somewhere. And some guys who are just looking for, a money grab, which is nothing wrong with that. I think the other thing that's interesting is I spoke to a coach, not at UT, but at another program. And I asked him, I said, man, why are people just not moving around this year, especially elite guys like you saw the other years? And he told me, he goes, we're getting smarter. I was like, well, what do you mean? And he said, look, we're having guys, part of the NIL deals, sign 2-year leases with their apartment complexes. And so now if you break it, you're going to have to spend X amount of dollars, for the end of your lease, right? And it goes, so they're finding ways, NIL wise, creatively, to make sure guys kind of hang around just a little bit longer. There's some sneaky backdoor ways, and maybe that's one thing I just need to dive into a little bit more. It might be a good war room note, but they're also doing some sneaky things. I say sneaky. They'll call it smarter ways to keep guys, around.
Wow. Now that is, I'm not going to say diabolical. It's genius though, Anwar. We all know how the magic of the lease can affect things. When you're in an apartment lease, like I know people, including my now wife, that I remember when we decided to move in together and sin for a while and then get married. The reason we made the move was somebody's lease was coming up. Right? Like how many times do people do that in life? I never thought about it. But Anwar, the other day in a chat, somebody said to us, hey, aren't they smart enough now, the schools, to make 2-year deals with these kids? That way they're not renegotiating every year. So we were just talking about the money part. I hadn't thought about the apartment part of it. Like,
so you got this nice apartment in your downtown that you're spending, $2,500, a month on, times that by 12, and now times that by 2. You break your lease, after 6 months, and you owe. We all been there, right? We all rented an apartment. We thought about breaking our lease. So, like, sure, you're responsible for it until we rent your apartment, and that could be another year or so. You're like, oh snap, I don't think I want to spend that. So
Yep. Home
you
sweet
gotta
home.
tough it out. So
Next thing you know, they're going to be paying the players' girlfriends to get pregnant. Oh, you can't leave, man. You got a baby on the way.
or you could just really get a fake pregnancy test at that point. Like,
Yeah.
And then
Jason, don't give him an idea that crazy, Jason. Don't give him an idea that crazy. If y'all want to throw in a super chat, we will get right to it. Talking portal today. You're Texas fans out there. Are you concerned at all about the portal? What do you want in the portal? Spring portal obviously coming a little bit down the road. It is a modcast, house divided kind of show today. We're glad you joined us. We will be thanking some of our great sponsors along the way, like one of my favorites, and that is Hayes City Store. You guys hear me talk about this place all the time, and I've also told you in recent shows, right now there's a discussion between my wife and one of our really good friends. This is a couple. We go eat together all the time. They want to do something. I want to go to Hayes City Store. I'm angling for Hayes City Store to see if we can get this done. They're talking about, we want to go somewhere, and then we want to just be able to hang out, maybe walk around a little downtown and all that. And I thought, okay, I want to go here. I want to go to the Hayes City Store Ice House. We've been there before. They know it's great. I've been craving one of their pork chops because it's amazing. And all the drinks are great. Maybe you're into whiskey like Anwar. Maybe you're into vodka like me. I always top it off with a beer at the end. The vodka and the beer, always a good combo. Go vodka first, remember. Liquor before beer, never fear. Yeah, do that. And make sure you get to Hayes City Store. So if you got somebody planning a trip, you do what I'm doing. Angle towards Hayes City Store. You will not be disappointed. It is one of my favorite places on earth to go eat, and it's one of our great partners. They are Longhorns through and through. Travis, Tamara, they're all about the Longhorns. They're always taking cool trips to the biggest games, and they're always making sure that you're taken care of out there at Hayes City Store. So go see them and tell them you heard about it here on Orange Bloods Live. All right, little modcast for you today, talking portal, talking about where Texas kind of is right now. And I thought this was a good chat, guys. Mark threw in, Sark is getting better recruits now, though. There's a combo here where you talk about the class itself, number one in the country, but also, Anwar, as soon as the portal discussion comes up, I start thinking about some of your reporting that I've seen in the war room. When you talked about, the current state of the team, how as the workouts are getting going, and obviously you'll be following it into spring and stuff. But in one of the recent war rooms, when you talked about leadership on the team and who was jumping out to Sark and things like that, I started asking myself the question of, what do you really need in this portal? Let's go to two positions. Jason mentioned them both, offensive line and receiver. Anwar, when you mentioned Gooseby and the fact that he's being talked about as a leader on this team, I thought, okay, that's kind of an interesting note. DeAndre Moore was also on that list. So talk to me, Anwar, about comfort. Not that they wouldn't want an offensive lineman or a receiver like Jason's talking about, but does it feel different than what it was last year based on how they feel about Wingo, DeAndre Moore, and obviously a guy like Gooseby to be able to step in?
Well, from a leadership standpoint, you threw two different things. So from a leadership standpoint, Gooseby is a poster child for everything that they would want them to be, right? So you got a guy who doesn't come in as a high 5-star, a guy who kind of sits and waits his turn, but continues to develop behind the scenes. He kind of, I guess overproduces or, outshines whatever his ranking was. And so now all of a sudden you have that development component. You get to sit behind a guy like Kelvin Banks. You don't complain about NIL. So, you're not threatening to enter the transfer portal, any of those things that you typically get from guys who could get sort of, disgruntled or at any point. And that typically happens. How many times, Jason, have we covered a guy who, 6 months on campus, he's not getting PT for whatever reasons, and it may be logical. And the guy's like, well, I'm out. And you're like, dude, you didn't even give this thing a chance. You didn't even try, And so, for that component, and then when you're now ready, and when it's your turn and your numbers called, you're able to step in the way that he did last year, whether it's versus A&M, whether it was against in the SEC championship game versus Georgia. Now all of a sudden, they're like, okay, here you go, and so you got to sat and learn. And so now that becomes a guy that they know they can depend on, they can lean on, good locker room guy, nothing to absolutely worry about, to the point where I didn't know at the beginning of last year, kind of mid-year, I started hearing about Gooseby, but I always, was wondering, like, if they're are they really going to let Trevor Gooseby block for Arch Manning? Like that was my biggest question. Like, are they really? That is the franchise among all franchise quarterbacks that you could ever freaking have, and they seem to have the confidence that that'll be the guy. So yeah, they would have him going to be kind of establish himself as a leader and a guy that they can lean upon. As it relates to the talent component, is an interesting thing because I feel like they've had talent that's been on this team, but I definitely feel like Sark is happy with the talent that he has on this roster. I don't feel like there was a lack of talent going into last year. I don't think any of us would have said that, having Ryan Wingo or Jonte Cook, DeAndre Moore was a lack of talent at the room. It was a lack of experience. But they seem to be really, it wasn't talent experience, but they seem to be okay with the experience that these guys have, that Wingo's had. Seem to be really happy when DeAndre Moore, if he could come back and be healthy, what he can do as far as productivity is concerned. I still think that at the end of the day, when we get to the end of spring, they'll probably add in one more receiver in that room. Like I don't, Jason, I don't know what you think. I'd be shocked if by the next spring portal opens that they don't add in one more guy. Like that would just be totally. I don't know how you hold Sark back from doing it, but
it depends on how Malik Lockett and Jamie French look in the spring too.
True, and that's the thing now. And those are big components too. That those guys. And that's one of the things I was told is that those guys are going to get good looks. Like they're going to give those guys a good opportunity there. And the one thing about them is that the thing I was told when I asked Sark about this, and I can't remember which bowl game it was, which is, by the way, a good thing that I can't remember which.
That long playoff run. It was somewhere in there.
The good part is there was so many of them that I can't remember. Before it used to be like, before the Alamo Bowl, I asked somebody a question like, oh, really? Like the Alamo Bowl? But I asked them about the receivers. And I kind of made a joke about like, you have a type, right? You kind of like those like 6 foot, 175-ish kind of guys with, a lot of speed. And he said, yeah, but he said they've actually kind of revamped their recruiting a little bit because they realized that, being in the SEC, they need a bigger receiver, so big and fast. So like a Ryan Wingo, for instance, that seems to be more of the receivers that they're wanting going forward. To Jason's point, Lockett and French, bigger, faster kind of receivers. So he seemed that, while they were able to get a Dale and McCutcheon, who doesn't really necessarily fit that mold, the other guys are a little bit more what they're looking for. I think that's why it'll be a huge offseason for a guy like a Parker Livingstone to be able, to kind of go in there as well. So there's almost a little bit of a switch. But to everyone's point, back to it, they have those guys on campus. Now it's just a matter of what those guys can do in order to get that trust of the staff.
Yeah, and Jason, we've had chats coming in today on the receiving side of things, and some of the things that we've kind of talked about. Roan, not worried about receiver. I think Butler or Lockett can step up. Somebody else said, I think we need a veteran wide receiver, and then D tackle will always be a hustle for us. But it's also been pointed out, and the production, like Anwar made that delineation between the talent and the production, because the Jonte Cook number was 8. The number between Wingo and Moore is 68 plus 9 touchdowns. There's been some production there. So I guess the question would be, is it safe to say there will not be the need for 3 of them this year in the portal at wide receiver? Is that a safe assessment?
Yeah, they're not taking 3. Like Anwar said, I could see them taking 1, and I think it was Cotton in the chat said maybe an experienced player. I mean, I don't think you're going to get a Matthew Golden or a Bond in this year's portal, instant plug and play starter. But I think you could get someone with some experience that could, be a contributor, be in your rotation, help bring some of these young guys along. But I think the bulk of the heavy lifting is going to be, the guys that are currently on campus, and I'm including the true freshmen that just enrolled about a week ago. So, it's going to be DeAndre Moore. It's going to be Ryan Wingo. Those are going to be your headliners. Who's going to be that third guy? Could it be an Aaron Butler? Could it be one of the true freshmen? Could it be Parker Livingstone? I don't know. We'll see. But you got to remember, these guys are all incredibly talented. These guys that Texas is bringing in, they're young, they're inexperienced, but these are guys that could have probably gone to any school in the country. I mean, they're that caliber of players. So I think between 4 or 5 of those young pups, I think 1 or 2 of them certainly will jump up and surprise you early on. So to answer your question, Chad, will they get 3 receivers in the portal? Absolutely not. I'd be flabbergasted. If that happened, Chad, that would tell me that it was a disastrous spring for that receiver.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't expect that. I think if they get any at the receiver position, it'd probably be 1, and it'd be just a veteran, experienced guy that can come in and be a rotational player. I don't know if it'd even be a plug and play instant starter. I don't know if that kind of guy's out there.
And Jason, like to that point, right? What you're talking about. If you remember, as we were in kind of January of last year, the guys who were already on campus were Andrew Makuba was here, Trey Moore was here, Matthew Golden was here, Kendrick Blackshire was here for like a week or something. Isaiah Bond was already here. Nyblock was here. Savea came, I think, just a little bit late, but he got in here as well. The majority of guys especially the impact guys were already here in January. The guys that show up a little bit late are the Silas Bolden, who are already committed, but shows up a little bit late as he's finishing up his classes. Bill Norton's late, Lolay's late, Javion Cole, who you may or may not even remember, and then Belton Gardner showed up late. So the majority of impact guys were already on campus in January to go through winter conditioning. You had some role players that came in during the summer, but the impact guys were there. And so that's why I think that this holds to be true, like it was last season. Your core, your nucleus is on campus working out in DKR every day, starting yesterday. And you may have 1 or 2 guys that come later, but they're probably not going to be, super, impactful guys. And by the way, as it relates to receiver, Jason, one thing that someone told me, they're like, look, yeah, I mean, we would like to add another receiver, but it was like this really honest conversation. Like, but it's not like we've knocked it out the park 100% with all the receivers that we've gotten in the transfer portal. And it was like, it was transparent, but it was like, they were like, Isaiah Bond, he was injured for, half of the season or so. So we didn't really get a lot out of him. We got something out of obviously Bolden, and, and Silas was there, but, no one's going to say, oh my God, how do you replace him? He goes, we can't, but, we've got the Jai Halls that we've recruited, and, Adonai Mitchell might be the best guy that we've gotten out of portal, but you go through their history, Isaiah Nayor, right? They just said they haven't really hit. And so they've also been a focus on, let's not overreach this time. Let's just go ahead and focus on the guys we have on campus.
And my problem with the spring window, everybody's like saying, oh, it's okay, Texas will reload in the spring transfer portal window. Well, those guys that are going to enter in April in the spring transfer window are usually guys that have gone through their spring season. and they've been passed up on the depth chart. That's why they're entering the transfer portal in April.
Not
Now,
happening.
guys that enter in December, maybe they're looking for a step up. They're looking, NIL, they're looking for a bigger stage. But usually in April, it's going to be guys you're not going to find. I mean, that's why I just don't see them going out and finding, a Matthew Golden in April. I just don't think that kind of guy is going to be available. It's going to be someone that's going to be I won't say like kind of a role player, like you said, Anwar. Maybe he'd be part of the rotation, but probably not an instant plug and play guaranteed starter for you.
We got some chats that we will get to, talking some portal stuff. There was a good couple questions in there I definitely want to get to. A little Modcast House Divided combo. Thanks to Jason and Anwar for rearranging their schedules today. Again, Alex is covering the Senior Bowl, Football with Friends, this evening at 6. He and Cody will be getting you the very latest from the Senior Bowl.
No, they're doing East-West, aren't they?
Is it that, or I thought it was Senior Bowl week? Is that my?
No, I think they're at the
You're the wrong one. Is this East West?
I think they got the Shrine. I think that's where they are this week.
I can't keep them all straight. Of which
Okay.
It's one of those.
I'm pretty sure, which, by the way, you can get tickets to that game for like $20. Not gonna lie.
I want them all to be that one that's got the peanut butter cups, Anwar. That's the one I want. When they pass out the giant, this one, the hubcap peanut butter cup, that's the one I want. So they've got that this week. Jeff Ketchum again.
Maybe they're at the Senior Bowl, but I thought they were at the East West. I don't know. Whatever they're doing, they're together. That's what I know.
That's true. They will get that to you. And again, Jeff Ketchum taking care of the business side of things today for Orange Bloods. Speaking of business, you've heard Ketch talk about these guys. Rogue Shop. If you have not checked out Rogue Shop, do it. They have an extensive website that is just like no other. You can scroll on that bad boy for a long time. Ketch also talks about the chat. Sometimes you're on a website and you get a little annoyed when they jump in. Hey, can I help you with something? But when you're on the Rogue Shop website, that's what you're looking for. Little help, a little advice. Well, I've got this. I've got these aches and pains. Okay, well, maybe a salve is good. Oh, maybe I'm not so much into the smoking side, but what about the edible side? Oh, well, there's gummies and there's this and there's lollipops and there's all kinds of cool stuff. So check them out. Rogueshop.com. Get in on that chat or just do it yourself. Either way, you're going to love that experience. They've been a partner with Orange Bloods for a long time. So check them out for legal CBD, THC, and more. The good folks at Rogue Shop. Shout out to Richard and the crew at Rogue Shop. All right.
You are correct. It is the Senior Bowl. I had to look on something. So they do have the East-West game going on this week in Jerry's World. That's on Thursday night. I know this because I don't know what word I must have said that it ended up following with all the ads on my phone and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw something that like you could get tickets for like $20. And I was like, $20. I got like and then there was like half off. Like they're just giving these damn things away, right? So I was like, I put it in. So I got me and the boys. I don't know if I'm even gonna go. I got me and my boys tickets, lower level Jerry's World for like 100 level for like $40.
Yeah, dude, that's worth it just to go into the stadium for nothing, right?
Well, yeah, because it's going to cost me more to park the car than the damn tickets would cost me. I was thinking to myself, this might be the only time that I would actually
as a Texas family-owned business
go see something like that. So,
Whoa.
Well, I mean,
my bad.
Seriously, rookie, come on, man, get Lisa off the screen. I'm talking about cheap tickets on SeatGeek.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
My gosh.
Terribly sorry. Sorry.
Anyway.
Try to work the electronics on your own that you've never done before, and that's what happens. That's my bad.
Well, it was clearly specs. You want to talk about specs, Chad?
No. I'm good. Please continue with what you were discussing.
I was just
that game's on Thursday, Anwar, right?
Huh?
That game's on Thursday?
It's on Thursday, yeah.
Man, I would consider that, but I'm going to Dallas like on Friday or Saturday anyways, so I don't think I'll make the. But yeah, for that price, dude, that's
well,
worth.
If you're gonna go on Friday, you can technically go for like.
Well, I'm taking my daughter up there for gymnastics stuff, so I'd have to drag her out of school and take her up there for 3 days.
I don't think she would be upset. I don't know about your kids, but my kids don't get. My kids were so obsessed, like with the snow, missing them for the snow day. They literally thought like they could get a second day out of them. Like, look, dude, don't get your hopes up. So my kids never complain about ever being able to miss a day.
True story. And I know we're going off the rails here, but when our kids, this is a long time ago, our kids were really young. I'm getting like, let me guess, like maybe 7 or 8 years ago. But my daughter was like my oldest daughter is now in college. It was like in 5th grade or something like that. We did a surprise trip to Disney World for them, where the family trip to Disney World. They come home and we did this whole elaborate thing, and my wife recorded it on video and everything. My daughter started crying, and we're like, "What are you crying about? You're getting to miss school and go to Disney World." She goes, "That's going to ruin my perfect attendance."
Oh, wow.
It need to be like this Disney World fail videos. Like we're like, "Okay, you can stay here with Grandma and Grandpa, I would guess, if you want, but the rest of us are going to Disney World tomorrow."
Did you guys leave her back home or what?
No, hell no. She went with us. We were literally leaving the next day. It was like,
oh, wow.
Surprise on her. She started crying on video because we were going to ruin her perfect attendance.
Man, I wish that was my perfect attendance got ruined for a funeral. So you can tell her there are worse reasons to have your perfect attendance.
Now she's the girl that like skips class if she has a little bitty hangnail or anything. Like she's doing well in college, but her senior year, I'm like, "Girl, you are the biggest slacker I've ever seen." So she went from perfect attendance to being hardly ever at school.
Pretty sure I got a truancy warning from my oldest a couple of weeks ago. So
we did too. We got one in the mail just like our daughter has to owe hours because she's missed so much school.
So what is it? Do you have to? Okay, all right, 1 minute. Is there like a literal like truancy court or something like that? Like I just look at it, I delete it because most of the times they miss. It's 97% of the times is his mom letting him stay home. It's not even me.
Yeah, my daughter said they can just like volunteer, like she does some volunteer stuff with Special Olympics, and that counts as hours, whatever. So it all gets worked out.
Okay,
it's fantastic. They're contacting Anwar. Do your children understand the idea of absence? Like they understand what it means, right?
They understand absences. That's for damn sure. They love them. They love them.
They are all about it. We're glad you guys are all about the shows and jumping in the chat. This one came in earlier, fellas, before we get to, as long as we're talking portal stuff. I don't think we definitely didn't hit this specifically today. Cotton saying, what did I miss? What happened to Coogan? Either one of you guys got any updated stuff on the Notre Dame offensive lineman? I felt like we talked about it late last week. Both those guys, I guess it's Coogan and Spindler.
Mm-hmm.
And then I haven't seen anything on them, Texas or otherwher. Do we know anything, Jason?
Actually, Catch posted a note this morning on Orange Blood, so everybody can go over there and check it out. But in a nutshell version, Texas is definitely interested. But it's been pretty quiet. There's not really any talk of him visiting. He's been very quiet. And there's talk about Michigan maybe being a player. I'm kind of skinning this, and maybe Indiana. And maybe those two want to play together. There's some thoughts. So maybe Indiana's a school to watch. Then there's talk about Michigan, now Ole Miss. But pretty quiet on the Longhorn front, other than we know Texas has an interest. But things haven't really heated up there, so not a whole lot going on there in regards to Texas just yet.
Gotcha. Anwar, anything to add there, offensive line wise? You feel like do we feel like by the time spring portal and everything is done, they're gonna need one more?
I mean, I think they'll take another one if there's one available. That's what I've kind of been led to believe, that if there is a guy available. Yes, but it's not considered the position of like need where you've got to do that. Like, they feel okay about the guys that they have here and the guys that they have on campus, but I don't think anything I've received has said like, oh snap, like we don't know what the hell they're going to do at this position. Right. That's definitely not the case.
Okay. If there is to me, I don't feel like there's a massive, one that got away so far in this portal. In fact, I was talking about looking at portal rankings, no 5 stars. I looked all up and down. Not one person was considered a 5-star to this particular ranking, which I thought was a little odd. But Anwar, is it Pregnon? Like if there's one guy that I said to the Texas coaches, all right, guys, if it all could have worked out, who's the one guy you'd love to have in your portal class right now? Would they tell me Pregnon, or would they tell me, you know what, Chad, he hasn't been there yet? The guy that
he's a guy that, they were interested in. He's a guy that they, There was an NIL deal that was, placed in front of him. So I would say that that's a guy that they would have definitely liked to have. Again, the tough part with the portal stuff, Chad, is that you've got guys who are coming in who a lot of these guys do want to get paid, right? But what do you got to decide like who you're going to do things with and how that as relates to the other guys who are on there, because there's a balancing act too of, okay, this guy off the street is going to want more, but how much more are we giving him than the people already here? Because I want to make sure we don't lose our entire locker room by bringing in someone that, may or may not, contribute. Now, Pregnon's a guy that could have, so that would have been a guy they would have liked to have had. But outside of that, everything else is more about just kicking the tires, and I just don't see Texas overspending for guys, especially if they don't feel like there's a dire need at that position. I just don't see them right now saying dire needs at, whatever positions that there are in the field. They feel like they've already recruited well. It's like, well, we already got some things here. And, by the way, this person's getting a decent NIL deal here, and we're not going to overspend unless it's dire to us.
Gotcha. By the way, Esrone admitting to us on the chat that he once hid from the bus. You shouldn't do that. Kids don't hide from the bus. He
hid from the bus, then what did he do all day is the question.
I don't even want to. Esrone, don't tell us. Please don't tell us.
That's what I do want to know. If he hid from the bus left, that meant he had a good 8 hours to kill. Yeah. So then the question is, what did he do in that 8 hours?
Yeah, what are you doing? That's a good point. Yeah,
my brother and I made the mistake. We skipped school twice, and we went to a friend of ours. She worked with us. She was a little bit older. She had an apartment. What we did all day on, 2 days straight, we just sat there and watched cartoons. We were in high school. It's like, what else are you going to do all day? You just watch cartoons or I forget who the Phil Dawson show or whatever the hell it was. Not Phil Dawson. What's his name? I don't remember.
Dr.
Phil. Yeah, Richard
Phil Donahue.
Phil Donahue. You're going way back.
Yeah.
Donahue show. You were intellectual.
Yeah. So then we came home the second day, and we'd show up right after school was over. Like walking. And the school had called and busted us at that. So my dad's like, "Oh, how was school today?" We're like, "Yeah, it was good." He's like, "Bullshit, you're busted." So kids, don't skip 2 days in a row. Spread them out a little bit.
I got that. It's funny you say that. I was with my girl over the weekend, and we're with my mom down in Florida, and she was in front of her. She goes, "Hey, did you ever skip school?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I skipped a lot. My mom never knew about it. My mom's sitting right there." She goes, "I knew about it one time." She goes, "I said, what? How did you know?" She reminded me one time I had skipped school and I was walking out of the park because I decided to go to play, and she was there at the park, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that ass whooping. That was not fun." It brought back memories. I think I blocked it, but yes, I do remember getting my ass whooped that day.
Yeah. So the step-by-step for Esrone, not that one. Step-by-step for Esrone was I said, "Oh, I missed the bus," and then wandered around town.
What time in the pocket, probably just wandering around town.
That's what every parent wants to hear, right?
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, ear tags.
Oh my God. All right. We want to shout out Daily and Black one more time. It is the Modcast sponsor each and every week, normally 10 a.m. on Tuesdays for the Modcast. Thanks to Daily and Black for their sponsorship. Also, thanks to the good folks at Texas Card House for their sponsorship of House Divided. Normally, that's, of course, what you see at noon every day. So we're kind of mixing the shows today. But shout out to Texas Card House. We were at TCH Social Austin for those watch parties from OU on this year, and it was a lot of fun. If you haven't been out there, check it out. Go have the bad beat bacon. You will not be disappointed. And we are working on an idea to get out to Texas Card House for maybe that first crazy Thursday of the basketball tournament. Like if Texas is in it, either the Thursday or Friday, whichever day they're a part of, we might just do a big old Orange Bloods watch party so Anwar can finally have the bacon. That's the goal. That's what
we tried to do it before the national championship game, and for some reason it decided to snow that night. Yeah,
so the weather got crazy, and I had to, not that I made the call, but for me, I was like, I'm not risking all that for Notre Dame and Ohio State. I'm just not. I'm I'm just not going to do it. All right, but I will risk, gentlemen, screwing up technically again if we can see a new specs spot. Let me see if I can do it. Here we go. We're going to go there, we're going to go there, and we're going to do
As a Texas
this.
family-owned business, we know you don't mess with Texas. And you won't find more ways to raise a glass of Texas-made cheer than right here. So whatever you're planning, we're ready to get you ready. Because at Specs, the fun starts here.
How about that?
Bravo.
Oh, wait. Do I have to get rid of it now? Hold on. Now I have to get rid of it. Otherwise, we'll stay too small. There we are. How about that? New spec spot.
That was that new everything. They're starting off with a new thing in a new year for Specs, huh?
Very cool.
New
Very
promo.
Cool, yes. We have we've asked for that and finally got the communication figured out. I was probably responsible for that too. Like they've probably been sending them the whole time and I just didn't notice it. Yeah, it's probably my fault. All right. If you guys want to jump in the chat, you can. Matt letting us know he skipped school to watch the blurry HBO channel.
Oh yeah.
We know what you're talking about, man. But
we know what the we know. We all were looking between the lines and be like, oh gosh.
Not HBO though, Cinemax, Matt.
It was Cinemax. Yes. It was blurry. We like you can figure it out.
Yep.
It was watching.
How off the rails do we want to take this thing? Do I want to tell the story about my first ever apartment that I got with my roommate? So first apartment, right? I lived in a dorm my freshman year. We get an apartment. First night there, we get our TV hooked up and we're like, let's get the Playboy channel. So we did. We got the Playboy channel, and me and my roommate and like two of my buddies, we sat on that couch from like 7 p.m. till like 4 a.m. And I don't think we ever moved. And then like we didn't know it, but at the Playboy channel would go off the air from like 4 a.m. till like 6 p.m. So 4 a.m, the TV just went out. And we're like,
what did they have on the?
What do we do now? Like, what do we do?
Did they go with the old school like vertical bars?
I don't even remember. I don't remember. But I just remember like we sat there for like 6 or 7 hours, and then finally it went out, and we're like, oh, well, now what the hell are we supposed to do for the next 12 hours till it comes back? So
I don't know. How about let your boner go down? Like, just four guys with boners sitting next to each other for hours and hours. Like, nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I can still picture the couch I was on and everything going on.
4 guys with teepee tents just sitting next to each other, just watching stuff like it's all. Look at that.
I did not have that.
Delusional. Yeah.
I did not have that phrasing on my OB Live bingo card today. I'm going to have to make sure we jot that one down.
What happens when you have us fill in?
That is fantastic right there. Fantastic. Thank you all for the chats here. Let's maybe try to get slightly back on topic. Is CJ Baxter participating in winter workouts or is he still sidelined?
He's not expected to participate in winter workouts or spring football.
Okay. Going to be all the way to the fall.
Yep.
Yeah. Because he's coming off of that. That was full ACL, correct?
ACL. So no, they're not going to. The plan is not to have him risk anything in this time. You won't see him. Don't expect to hear anything from him until the summertime. That it's all about getting him healthy.
Yeah,
I did see on social media he was at the I think it was the basketball game, I believe, on Saturday, and so like no knee brace or anything. So take that as a good sign, I would assume. So.
Yeah. No, yeah, but it's just it's Sark plays this thing pretty safe. When he starts talking about
Jonathan Brooks too, right? You don't want to rush him back too early, and
you can't.
We're talking about now, like how many games in a season potentially. How long the season goes. Like the last thing you need to worry about is CJ Baxter in January when you're going to have a season that starts in August and it's going to go to late January. I mean, it's crazy. I said it yesterday. If I add a day, the season's only been over for 18 days for Texas, at least for Texas.
Yeah.
And, they started winter conditioning yesterday. I mean, so it's a long haul for these guys nowadays.
Yeah. Anwar, even if you just get in the playoff and win once, you play January 9th or 10th, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But more than likely, if you're in the playoffs, you probably played in your championship game. More than likely, I mean, you obviously have your exceptions. Everyone didn't play in the championship game, but you're going to have that as well. So you probably would have had 12 plus 13 plus 14 just to start before you get to the other ones. So it's a long haul.
That's true.
You got to let a guy like CJ rest.
We got our guy Oscar jumping in here saying D tackle is his only concern, to be honest. Jason, you made a reference to the hero earlier, Hero Kanu from Ohio State, and he's got multiple teams on his list. Definitely feels like he wants an SEC state of mind coming up, whether it's Texas or Texas A&M or Florida. Both of you guys, give me an update on Kanu. Do you think it's with the two guys Texas already has there with was it Brevard and Shaw? Do you feel how important is this going to be to get one more D tackle? And do you guys think Kanu could be the guy?
Well, he visited, so I mean that shows he has an interest. I want to catch up with him. It's been bang, bang, bang. He's Austin, Florida, and I think going to Georgia and then A&M. So I haven't had a chance to kind of talk to him and feel him out. But he could be the guy. I mean, like I said, this one to me just has a feel like it's NIL. The highest offer is going to win. So, we'll see how much Texas wants to play there. He has not been productive. I remember he was a highly rated player with a lot of upside out of Germany. So he's still new to the game of football. He's intriguing, but, I don't know. Is he a guy that's going to come in and make this team a whole lot better? I kind of said this. I mean, I don't want to disparage the young man because he may go on and do great things, but it kind of has the feel of Dominic Williams when he was deciding between like Oklahoma and Texas, the former TCU defensive lineman who ended up going to Oklahoma. And I mean, frankly, Oklahoma way overpaid for what they ended up getting out of him. So, maybe Kanu's in this. I feel like he's marketing himself very well, and he's going to get a good deal from somebody. I just don't know that it's going to be Texas. And I don't know that he's going to be a major game changer wherever he winds up. So,
yeah, I would agree with that too. Again, no disrespect to him, go get your money, but there's not a lot of statistical production for him for the guys that's about to be a senior. If you're Texas, you got high hopes for a guy like Alex January. That's probably where
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Let these young pups eat, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you do your investment in a guy like that as opposed to someone like who you bring in who's probably going to want a whole lot of money to kind of be a situational player. Well, you can probably get situational players who you currently have on the roster for a lot cheaper. It would just be quite honest.
Yeah, he's two full seasons past where January is right now, and the numbers are basically the same, like in terms of the tackles and all that. Like I would assume you just see if Alex January can be what you think he could be. But obviously we'll keep an eye on
Alex January was on the state championship team with Colin Simmons. Alex January was the MVP, not in the state championship game, but for the season was the defensive MVP of that team. So, I mean, this is a guy that we don't talk about a lot because he's young, but he's a guy with a lot of upside. So.
Yeah, no, I'm really interested to see what 97 can become, but no updates on Kanu today specifically. If you guys want to jump in on the Specs chat, you can do that. I see just about 600 of you in there right now. We appreciate you for jumping in today. Also, we appreciate our great partners around here, including the good folks at AV Consultations. I think I know how to play this video. Let's hear from Tom, a little Camilla. You'll see the screens and everything. If you have a badass setup in your head, this is the place that can make it come true. The man cave of your dreams is possible. Check it out.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations. We've been providing custom electronic systems for Central Texas for more than 36 years. And
old man, I think they all know who you are and what your company does. This is Camilla McKay. The old man believes in big fun and big ideas. He can make dreams come true, so why not dream big? I've been up in Boston, but I know the old man and all his friends and fellow radio heads have been spreading the holiday spirit here in Texas. Why should we stop there? Keep spreading the good feelings all over. Audiovisual Consultations carries all major brands of television televisions, and stereo equipment at prices you can't find in stores. And you don't have to leave your house. Just like Santa, they deliver the gifts to you.
Yeah, I like that, kid. Throw a party, hang out with your friends, catch a concert.
That's all fun and good, but can we get back to the business? You can give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit our website at avconsultations.com for some cool electronics.
Oh, now you're forgetting something.
And as always, hug your kids. We only pretend to be annoyed. Watch some games.
All right. If you want to jump in the Specs chat, feel free. If you want to give us a super chat, they will go right to the top of the list. We are talking Portal and a couple of other things, and skipping school, frankly, today. On the show. Something I was not able to do, fellas, in high school, because most of high school, my dad was my teacher for at least one class, if not more, and my mom worked in the office.
Oh.
I had no shot. No chance. Couldn't stand. Oh, dude, I couldn't
That's like being a preacher's kid, man.
Exactly. I couldn't take 2 extra minutes at the end of lunch, much less trying to skip the whole damn day. It just wasn't happening. Wasn't happening.
Did you have good grades though when it was all said and done, Chad?
Oh yeah, had to do that. They found out my grades before I did, so I had to make sure they were up.
You could even change your grades, could you?
No. My mother, I don't know if she could have changed them. She knew them though. Like she would come home and tell me like a week to go to, hey, how the grades looking? Oh, they look all right. Okay.
If you smart, like back in the day, they'd have the report cards that were, that they would just write them in. So, I knew like, well, damn, if I'm kind of at a C, that's not good. So I would just kind of let it go down sometimes to a D. Because then I could just do one more bubble across, and now I got a B. Look at that, Mom. So, you just learn how to, little tricks of the trade back then. Now it's all digital. You can't do any of that.
Yeah. It sounds like Mark had some tricks of the trade. $5 super chat. I was a senior, and there I was on the front page of the Hillsborough Reporter newspaper with the superintendent getting an award while using my brother's ID to buy booze.
Wait, there's a lot going on here.
Oh my God.
He was on the front page. Oh, so he was in the background. Is that what he's saying? He was in the background?
Yeah.
I guess so. That is.
Hey, that's funny, Mark, because I also have an older brother. He's 2.5 years older than me. I don't think we look alike, but everybody says we look like twins. And I also used his ID exclusively to get in everywhere. And until one time, and it never failed. I mean, literally never failed. I'm in Bay City where I grew up, and my buddy Paul Grover. Paul says, "Hey, Suk, will you buy me some beer? Go in this gas station, buy me some beer." I said, "Okay, I'll do it for you, Paul." So I go in there, and the guy goes, "You're not Jeff Sukamel." I go, "Yeah, I am." He goes, "I graduated with Jeff Sukamel." "You're not Jeff Sukamel." And listen, the best part of the story, the next day my phone rings, and it's Paul's dad, Bruce Grover. Bruce says, "Suk, don't ever try to buy beer at my gas station." And dumbass Paul sent me into his dad's own store to buy beer. And I got busted. He's like, "That can cost me a shit ton of money if you buy beer at my store underage." He goes, "Don't ever go in my store and try to buy beer." I'm like, it was your son that sent me in there, man. So
wait, did you ever get the ID back?
Oh yeah. He goes, "That's not," and I snatched it out of his hand. And I just took off, dude. Oh yeah. I wasn't using that thing no more. That thing was worth all the money in the world to me at that point.
My God, S. Roan is admitting that he was good at forging his mom's signature. Like, there's just all kinds of stuff. Salty Q got charged with truancy in high school. Had to do community service for skipping swim practice.
Wow,
my God, Cotton
truancy is a big thing.
Cotton says I'm the guy that they used to work to get passes. Cotton, that's why they were nice to me. Okay, all right.
Did you guys when you guys went to high school, did you guys have paddling in your school?
Middle school, yeah.
Middle school.
Oh yeah, all the way.
Did you ever get it? I never got it. Did you ever get it?
Yeah.
Did you?
No,
people don't know. People don't. Right now, that person would go to jail. That principal would do that.
Yeah.
But
I just moved to Texas, and I didn't take long. I got my first paddling. Yeah. So.
By the time we got through high school, Anwar, I think it was kind of being phased out. When I was in 4th grade, the teacher would spank kids in front of the class, And then if you were a good kid, you got to take the paddle home for the weekend and take care of it.
No.
It had a name. The paddle had a name, and if you were one of the best students in the class, you got to take it home and babysit the paddle at your house.
Get the hell out of it.
It was to this day, it's still one of the strangest things I've ever encountered, but to us, it was totally normal. And I will tell you that watching one of your classmates get spanked in front of you, it worked for me. I don't know if it worked for every kid, but I would always watch it like, yeah, this is never going to be me, ever. Never.
This is all right, Jason. What did you get paddled for? What was your paddling for?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Probably talking about it. Honestly, I don't remember. Wasn't anything crazy, back talking or cussing or something, probably. I don't know.
Was it what Matt did? I never got paddled, but got threatened with it after flipping off a teacher in first grade?
No, I was not. I was in 5th grade, and I did not flip off a teacher. No.
Flipping off the bird? And what?
So for the young people who don't know what we're talking about, back in our day, they actually would have these paddles that I guess were kind of smaller versions of what you would have to row a boat.
Mm-hmm.
And the teachers, the administrators, if you got in trouble and they felt like it was somewhere between detention and suspension, somewhere in that gray area, you can just get your ass whooped. And so they can literally just take this paddle and you had to bend over and they can literally smack your ass. I don't know was there a limit or how many times or just what they wanted?
Anwar, I don't think there were any rules in place. I don't think there were guidelines. I don't think there was, it was just at the discretion of the teacher.
Yes.
Is what that was.
And the teacher at school could literally just paddle your ass and then send you back.
There was one coach as I went through elementary schools where it first showed up. There was one coach that you knew you didn't want to mess with. His paddle was fiberglass and it had holes in it. So when you put the holes in it so it would cut through the air a little bit better. Whoo, man. That's just the sound of it. Because what they would do out at recess is they would take you into a room off to the side. Everybody else is kind of out in this little covered not portable, but like a covered building area. And you could hear it and the sound rang out. It sounded like a cannon went off. And when you heard the sound, you were just like, oh, it just, again, like I'm never going to be bad. It worked for me. It didn't work for all the kids, but
I mean, we could probably call an attorney at this point and do some sort of
Cotton's got it. They called it corporal.
That's right.
punishment.
That's right.
That was good.
Right.
I got close. I almost got spanked because I got accused of stealing a baseball glove, but I didn't steal it. So I was about to get spanked. Finally, someone admitted it right before. I was like 2 minutes away from being sent to the principal's office and getting my only spanking of my career. But then thankfully somebody spoke up. So that was it. That's as close as I got.
We had paddling. We had rifle racks in our trucks, and people that actually still had their rifles in it.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about skipping school all day, and look how we turned out. We're fine. We are absolutely fine. Is this new generation that's soft? But we're a harder generation.
Bring back the paddling. Yeah, bring back the paddling. We need more of that. Yep.
Brandon.
Now that's real.
Brandon, you're correct. That's about the closest thing to just a cricket bat. If people know what a cricket bat is, that's about right. Yep, you're about right on that. If y'all want to throw in some chats and super chats before we wrap up, we will do it. We are across the 1 o'clock hour mark. I did whip up a little buy or sell for the fellas. We will get to that. Also, before we get out of here, I will thank another one of our great partners, and y'all know it's one of my favorites. It's Sinus and Snoring Specialist. This is a place that's very, very near and dear to me. It's close to my heart, but most importantly, it's close to my nasal passages, and it's close to, the snoring part and the allergies and everything, because they got rid of my allergies for good, and they fixed the snoring stuff. I have put a post on orangebloods.com about it, and there's been some conversation there. A guy reached out and said he had procedures done back in the 90s, and that stuff went a little crazy with him and he had a little bit of a bad time with it and whatever. And I was like, wow, glad it's not like that anymore. And he said, but I still don't regret doing it because I don't have to worry about the snoring. So nowadays, you're going to end up with a much better experience with sinus and snoring specialists. I can tell you that for sure because I went through it in 2017, got rid of my allergies for good, and I don't have to worry about the snoring and sleep apnea stuff. It is a big load off my mind. I'm 50 years old now. If you are up into your 50s, maybe you're older than that, and you know there's something going on, don't let it continue to get worse because it can lead to other stuff that you really don't want. Let them take care of you at Sinus and Snoring Specialist. 601-0303. You see the number there. The website is sinussnoringent.com. There's some videos there with Dr. Slaughter kind of explaining what they do. You will be satisfied. They do a great job. They've been doing it for a while now, including for me. Back in 2017, they've helped my wife out. They've helped Jason's talked about his family, has been to Dr. Slaughter's at times as well, and so many others. Please mention Orange Bloods Live or mention my name when they ask where you heard it. That would certainly help us out. We do appreciate it. Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Feel clear, rested, and healthy. All right. The fellows were nice enough to jump in today for a little modcast house divided combo. We do appreciate them for that. Jeff Ketchum taking care of some office stuff today. It is tax time after all. Alex Dunlap taking care of some Senior Bowl stuff because it is Senior Bowl week, and we're talking to you on a Tuesday. Senior Bowl coming up on Thursday of this week. But remember, Football with Friends is coming up this evening at 6. The fellas were, kind of traveling and dealing with practices and stuff, but they'll have a full report on what's going on at the Senior Bowl, including any Longhorn news and updates. That'll be coming up.
Alex is very happy about hand measurements. I don't know if you know that or not. Jason and I know this well, but that's the thing that excites him the most about the Senior Bowl in the combine is the hand measurements.
My favorite Alex story. So one time he came to, I think it was a Rivals camp or an Under Armour camp with me. And, we just go out there and interview these guys. We're not taking measurements and stuff. Here's Alex out there asking every guy to show his hand. And he didn't have a measuring tape. So he took his iPhone charging cable and measured it with his iPhone charging cable and marked it off on there so that he could then go back and measure the cable, I guess, and see.
Nice.
Their hands were all the other reporters who is this dude? And what the hell is he doing? I go, that's just Alex being Alex. Just let him do his thing.
Alex he loves him some hand measurements.
Excuse me, can you hold this on your thumb? I'm going to stretch it to your pinky.
I mean, you would think this is my headphone thing. If you can see it, I don't even know.
Yeah.
You would spread it across their fingers and then mark it off and go home and measure that, I guess. I'm like, okay, dude.
That is the best story I'm going to hear all day. That is fantastic. Oh my God. Real quick here. This is my new favorite names in the chat. Overweight Lover. Anwar.
Heavy D.
Anwar, are you going to go watch the F1 movie?
Yeah, that's coming out this summer, I believe, with Brad Pitt. But yes, the answer to that is yes. I will probably start to watch F1. I'll watch F1 a little bit more this season than I did before. With Hamilton going to Ferrari, that'll be an interesting transition over there. It kind of became boring because for me, for a couple of years, because Red Bull just kept winning. And I was just like, I just got old. Last season was a little bit better, but I definitely will check out this new movie. Absolutely Overweight Lover.
All right. I did not realize there was an F1 movie. Okay. Overweight.
Yeah, Brad Pitt's going to be starring in it.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm always in for a Brad Pitt. That's
your wife will definitely want to go.
Yeah. I was definitely. Yeah. We'll definitely get the wife there. And I don't think I've ever seen anything with Brad Pitt that I was disappointed with. So he always does good work. Before we get to buy or sell, speaking of doing good work, shout out to Texas Card House sponsoring House Divided each and every day at noon. And let's remind you, if you love your online poker, it's back. Texas Card House has brought it back with hijack poker. Like Ketch says, it's like the old days. It's like way back in 2008 when Ketch and I started doing a radio show, and he'd spend way over half that radio show distracted by online poker. You can do it Once again, hijackpoker.com. Get that app on any device you want. And remember, just got a couple more days to use that OB20 code. You'll get $20 in free play. And as you see there, you can cash out at one of 6 Texas Card House locations. This is for you online poker players in the great state of Texas. Got to be in the state of Texas or it's not going to work for you. Check out hijackpoker.com. All right, gentlemen, I put together a little buy or sell. Are you ready?
Do it.
Sure.
Here we go. Let's start with this one. Buy or sell number 1, spring portal, at least 3 guys coming and going for Texas. Jason, buy or sell?
I'll buy that. Yeah, I think there'll be 3 guys brought in, and probably 3 departures, I would think. So I know of one that I'm already hearing is going to happen. So yeah, I think I'll buy that, Chad.
All right, Anwar?
Yeah, that's an easy buy for me. I mean, there'll definitely be at least 3 guys that would leave, once the spring is done. And, when guys figure out where they are on the depth chart and, those guys figure out where they're 3rd, 4th string-ish, those guys will definitely see what else is out there. And then as far as coming in, I definitely could see 3 more additions coming in during the spring. I mean, they have the scholarship room at this point, so I would definitely they're going to fill it up. So yeah, I would definitely buy on that.
All right, Anwar, we'll start with you on this one. And keep in mind, this just comes from a smart-ass, morose Cowboys fan. Buy or sell number 2, the Raiders will win more games than the Cowboys next season. Buy or sell?
Ooh, I don't know what to make of the Schottenheimer hire. That's a tough one. I'll sell.
Okay.
I'm probably not as down on the Cowboys as everybody else. I feel like maybe with some fine tuning, they'll be okay. And they just got to have some guys coach them up. So I'll sell on that, but that's a tough sell. But I'll sell. I think the Cowboys will be, same as they always are, kind of middle of the package.
Man, I would love to think all the Cowboys need is fine tuning. Jason, buy or sell? Raiders win more games.
Yeah, I'm with Omar. I'm selling. Cowboys still have a pretty good core and they have some talent. Raiders, they don't have a quarterback. They'll probably get Shador, is what people keep saying, but I'm not counting on Shador to lift the Raiders up immediately. So I'm going to sell that and say Dallas gets more wins than the Raiders.
All right, fair enough. All right, Jason, we'll snake it back and forth. You go first here. Buy or sell number 3. You have watched the TGL.
You know what? That's funny. The only reason I even know what the hell TGL is because I saw it last night in the background, and I was explaining to my wife, like, "What? Look at this crap." And so I watched like 20 seconds of it, but now that's about it.
Okay, Anwar, buy or sell? Have you watched?
I have not watched, but I did. That's the thing where it's like, was that the thing that Tiger was in?
Correct.
Weeks ago, right?
Indoor simulated, partially like.
Yeah, I was like, I can go to Spare Birdie and do this, right? In Cedar Park.
Exactly.
How's that? I don't know. So whatever.
And by the way, they have a really good banana old fashioned at Spare Birdie. By the way, it's a banana old fashioned.
Okay,
excellent. It's not on the menu. Last time I went there in January, I want to say, but they did go and ask the bartender to make it, and they were able to make it for me. But no, I have not watched it. To his point, that or you could do you could go to Spare Birdie to do that. Do you know what we're talking about when we say Spare Birdie? By the way,
I have not heard of Spare Birdie.
Cedar Park. They got some virtual stuff. It's a really cool thing. I'll send you the link.
Bowling alley, like a virtual thing. I've gone there once. I already had a drink. I've never played the games, but
I'm definitely interested in that drink. Anwar, just a nerdy drink question: does the banana flavor come from the whiskey, or does it come from like a banana liqueur,
like a kind of an actual banana? I believe in it, and so, but it's a nice, good. It's a really good drink. It was definitely fun. So yes, but no, I have not watched the TGL.
Okay, yeah, actually, I've been watching it a little bit. Last night, I thought it was pretty entertaining. I
watched it on the message board. Say it's really fun. I mean, maybe I'll give it a chance sometime.
It was cool. Now, I would advise not watching live and be able to fast forward through it if you need to. That's always my recommendation.
True.
All right. We'll go with Anwar first here. Anwar, buy or sell number 4. If Mahomes wins this one, he's the GOAT.
No, I'll sell on that one. But he's pretty damn good. I would tell you that much. History may say something different, but I would, when we think of GOATs, we're thinking like a Tom Brady, like that kind of Mount Rushmore. He's the best in NFL at this moment, right? So no one can deny how good he is. It's funny. I was saying something to Catch yesterday, and and Jason would agree to this. It's funny what happens and how different Xavier Worthy looks when he's open and has a quarterback that just gets in the ball in stride. Like it's a huge difference as far as his, no one's like, oh, why is Xavier? What's the connection going on? Blah, blah, blah. It's just Xavier typically, as always, is open. Mahomes finds in the ball. I think Buffalo still to this day I still never understood why Buffalo made the trade with Kansas City last year. I'm like, they're going to draft Xavier Worthy. Like, why are you going to give them a weapon? Like, how dumb can you be? And of course, when it counts, it comes back to bite them in the ass. But I bring it all full circle to say, no, he's not the GOAT. But he will be on, he can definitely be in a conversation for a Mount Rushmore.
Jason, buy or sell?
He wins this one, he's the GOAT. Man, there's a part of me that wants to buy, dude. I mean, if he wins 3 in a row, and this would be his 4th overall, right?
Correct. That would, so it'd be equal to Montana's number of 4.
And did he lose one?
Yes.
Yeah,
he lost to Brady.
Yeah, that's right. How many's Brady got? 7?
Mm-hmm.
So 4 to 7. I mean, you still got to give the nod to Brady, but I don't know, man. Mahomes, like if you're asking me, like, if I'm starting a team and I can take Tom Brady as a rookie or Patrick Mahomes as a rookie, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. So does that mean, I don't know. I mean, does that make him the GOAT in my mind? I don't know. But I mean, 7 championships for Brady. It's like Jordan. I mean, nobody's going to – I think LeBron James is the best basketball player I've ever seen, but Jordan's still the GOAT because he's 6-0 in finals. So, no, I'm not going to give him the GOAT title just yet, but he's really damn good, man.
Yeah, if they can get this done, it'll be crazy. First team even to make it to that 3rd Super Bowl. There's a Cowboys, a Steelers, and a Niners team that got to the championship game in their conference, but couldn't get to the game. Now Kansas City's trying to actually finish it off for the very first time.
At least the fellas have moved past the Taylor Swift hate that they had. Like at least no one's flipping out over that, like how they used to. So I'm happy for that. That was wearing me down. So
yeah, that is good. Yeah, we don't need that. All right, Jason, let's have you start this last one off, and we'll go to the movies, fellas. Buy or sell number 5. You care about seeing Oscar-nominated movies?
No.
It's a sell from Jason. Anwar, buy or sell?
I don't care. The only person that I ever have known that does care is Catch.
Exactly.
He's the only person that I don't know who does it. The worst for me, the worst for me is, what I could care less about is any like film festival award ones. Actually, those I care about less. In fact, if you won a film festival, I won't go to your movie because I realize that I am not deep enough or abstract enough to understand what the hell just happened in this movie.
So you're telling me there's a group of people walking towards the theater because it is a Cannes Film Festival award winner. You're the guy walking to the regular Cineplex to watch the next Fast and Furious.
I'm watching, I'm like, Vin Diesel. Oh, they're going cars are fast. Give me another drink. But it's like something else that's like because those film festival things, I'm sorry, they're just way too deep. And they're abstract. It's something in the dark. God forbid there's subtitles, which I'm okay with the subtitles actually. So I'll take the subtitles part out. But it's something where it's just so abstract, and then it ends abruptly, and it's like it was so beautiful. Like it was that like. I just thought it was weird. So
give me a movie with a beginning and a good story and an actual end to the damn movie, right? I don't want to walk out of the theater like, what the hell? Like, I got to go get on Google and find out what I just watched. Like, what does this mean?
Okay, now there's a contest in my head. Was my favorite part of today's show Anwar talking about 4 guys watching the Playboy channel, or was it Anwar's French accent for a Cannes Film Festival movie at the end? Can I have a little more of that, Anwar? That was wonderful.
It was such a beautiful movie. Like, you have to tell yourself, you feel in the ending, because the ending is what you make it to be. I want you.
Wait, is that The Godfather or is that French?
Listen, don't judge my accents. They all blend together. I can only blend a French Jamaican who wants a Rasta pate. See, it all just blends together.
Jason, every time he thinks he's out, they pull him back in. Every time. Every time.
Every Tuesday when Ketch says, I'm not going to be here, I get pulled back in.
Yes, that's true. Pulled back in. And we appreciate you guys for adjusting to that Jeff Ketchum weekly schedule. It did hit us again today on a Tuesday. We thank all of you for adjusting with us as well. You just never know who you're going to see on Orange Bloods Live in the middle of the week. Thanks to over 650 of you that are in that Specs chat right now. Gentlemen, anything else you need to get out before we shut it down today?
I'm good.
No more stories of truancy or bad movies or anything. Okay, good. Make sure you check out these guys and their great work at orangebloods.com, of course. We'll throw that up. And actually, sorry, pardon me, Anwar, 1 second. Let's go old school. There we go. Orangebloods.com. Go check it out. All the cool stuff. The War Room on Thursday night. Anwar's got the Sunday pulpit for you on Sunday, appropriately enough. You see how he does that. And then Jason's got the 321 article for you. Jason, 321 this week is it coming up tonight?
Tonight, I'll have it posted tonight. Yep.
Gotcha. We're talking on a Tuesday. He will have it for you on the Tuesday evening. We'll check that out. And then tomorrow at 10 o'clock, it is going to be the recruiting hour with Jason and myself. Anwar will have the old fashioned for you at 9. And then remember, this evening at 6 o'clock, it is Football with Friends, a Senior Bowl week edition. As the guys are covering the Senior Bowl, they'll get you the very latest, and maybe they will have already gotten some free peanut butter cups, which that makes me more jealous than anything than getting to see the workouts. And tomorrow we will be back at 12 o'clock with something. Maybe House Divided, maybe with Catch. Maybe it's Jason and me doing the recruiting hour at 12 because we're having to combine stuff. Who knows? We'll see. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, and getting your notifications. Thanks to all of our great partners. And we love your support. We hope you guys are staying happy and healthy out there. Weather kind of warming up in the Central Texas area. So maybe get yourself out to one of our great partners, Hayes City Store, Taste on Main, TCH Social Austin. Go out there and play some cards or have some bad beat bacon or both. Have yourself a good time. Come on. Come on back tomorrow. Now I'm getting it. Come on back tomorrow for some more Orange Bloods Live. Y'all take care. See ya.